The Kenner diecast tie bomber, only released in certain areas as a test market. Wait a minute, was this really just a test market toy? Well, let's take a look. Welcome back to the Junk Room, everybody. It's me, the Junkman, coming back at you with another video. And today we're going to talk about my favorite of the diecast Kenner toys, the diecast tie bomber. Now, do I like it because it's a cool tie bomber, or do I like it because it's considered rare and only released as a test market toy? I don't know. This one here is pretty yellow, and I know in the comment section they'll tell me to put this on it, do this to it, which is fine. It'll whiten it up, and then in about 5 years, the plastic will be degraded or rubbery or damage the plastic. So I don't even fool around with trying to whiten these things up, because they might look good for the first couple of years, and then you'll pay for it later most of the time. Nothing's 100%, right? But we're talking about the tie bomber. So how many of these were made? Well, it's been said, no official number, that 75,000 of these were made and sold as a test market around the Ohio area close to Kenner. But does that sound right? First, 75,000 doesn't seem all that rare to me, although we don't have a production number on how many the other ones made. Still, 75,000 back in 1980 when this was released seems like it's not that rare, especially if it was only released in Ohio or around that area. You got to think the market was flooded with them. But there's been reports of people talking about how they found this at Toys R Us and California and other places. And although some told me they've seen boxes of these with a price tag showing it was nowhere near Ohio, I couldn't find any boxes of these with a price tag on it, so I can't verify that. But first I wanted to do is check eBay just to see how rare these things are. Are they really that rare? Well, I got lucky and picked mine up on Craigslist. Believe it or not, I got this, the Imperial Shuttle you see over here, and a couple other things for a really decent price. But let me tell you about my adventures over at eBay. Now on eBay I did a search, and I found that out of currently on eBay now and what has been listed on eBay in the last couple of months, or I don't know how far eBay goes back with their complete list, but I only could find 10 of them. That's right, only 10 of them. And that made me think, well, this thing is rare. And how many of them was boxed? One was currently on sale that was boxed. The rest of them, all loose. I looked at completed, sold or not sold, and currently listed, and I could find none in the box. So that tells you right there, this thing is pretty rare. But it got me to thinking, what about the other toys released in the Empire Strikes Back line? Most of them were released on a card. The bigger ships like the Falcon, the Y-Wing, their Imperial Star Destroyer, they were released in a box like the tie bomber. But let's look at the carded Empire Strikes Back items, because they were released around the same time this would have been released. And let's see how easy they are to find on eBay. Slave 1, I found 12. That means they are 12 that was currently on sale or had been listed in the last couple of months. All loose. I found 0 on card. What about the Cloud car? Yuck, right? Well, the diecast Cloud car, 14 of them was on eBay loose, with only 1 on card. And then you have the Snow Speeder, 13 of them loose, and yep, 0 on card. So we've got the tie bomber with 10, Slave 1 with 12, Cloud car with 14, Snow Speeder with 13. As you can see, they're all within around that same area, between 10 and 14, just a few number difference. And there was no Slave 1 or Snow Speeder on card, so it got me to really think, this thing can't be that rare, can it? Could it only be released in a test market? Now, the only thing we know that says it was released in a test market, or at least the earliest information I can find, was from Steven Sansweet book, a very great book if you don't have it, From Concept to Scream to Collectibles. Check out this book if you didn't have it. It's very good for any vintage collector. That's the first place I could ever find any reference to this being a test marketed toy. And every other thing I find kind of just seems to take that information from this book. There's no official document for Kenner. I mean, we got all kinds of official documents for Kenner. We've got Jawas having their cape change, a lot of blueprints, and we got a lot of stuff. So it makes you wonder, why wouldn't we have any information from Kenner? If this thing was being test marketed, You'd think by now some kind of paperwork would have been found, but still wasn't enough to say it wasn't a test market at all. But let's get back to the other ships in the line. When this was released, Kenner brought over the Falcon, the Y-Wing, and the Star Destroyer. In fact, it was called the Imperial Cruiser when it was released before Empire, but they changed it to Star Destroyer for the Empire line. Falcon, Y-Wing, and the Imperial Star Destroyer was released in a Star Wars box, but for 1980 they crossed over to the Empire Strikes Back logo box, and this guy here got released in the Empire Strikes Back box. The only one that was new to an Empire Strikes Back box. So I started thinking, if this was released around that same time with those now in the Empire box, maybe that would tell us something. Are they just as rare as this, or maybe they're easy to find? And guess what? Finding a diecast Falcon, Imperial Star Destroyer, Y-Wing in the Empire Strikes Back logo box, it's almost impossible to find. I couldn't hardly even find photos of them. I can find photos of this. I can find it on eBay. But try to find a Falcon, a Y-Wing, an Imperial Star Destroyer all in the Empire Strikes Back logo box, it's almost impossible. So why would a test market toy be easier to find than the toys released altogether? And it got me to thinking about something else while looking at those boxes. On the back of the boxes, they do show the TIE Bomber. It makes you wonder if this was just a test marketed toy that they wasn't sure they were gonna release it or not. Why would they spend the money to put it on the back of the package until they were decided for sure if they were gonna release it? Seems like they wouldn't put it on the back of the package to collect all. It was also in the Kenner Toy Fair catalogs, showing that the TIE Bomber was going to get released. Again, there's no information that shows it's a test market, although that's what everyone says it is. But I can't find any information that shows it's a test market. Now, there was something unusual about the box for the TIE Bomber that's unlike any of the other boxes. This box here, it had a barcode for the TIE Bomber. Now, you know, barcodes are on everything nowadays, but in 1980, very few people used them, but they were on toys and some other things. So someone told me maybe they were doing a barcode test, sending it to only stores that were able to do bar scanning as some kind of test for the scanning system. Again, I couldn't back that up either, and that sounds a little far-fetched if you ask me. I mean, I could see putting the barcode, sending it to the stores that had it or didn't have it, but to make a special box, a special toy, just for special stores that have a barcode scanner, seems very unlikely. So what do I think happened? Why is this one more rare than all the other ones? Well, as I've kind of pointed out, it's rare, but it's not as rare as the other ships in the Empire Strikes Back logo boxes. Maybe rarer than the ones on cards, but they were cheaper, and stores probably carried a lot more of them than they did the box items. So what did I think happened? Well, I think the diecast toys didn't sell that well, and by the time Empire Strikes Back came, most stores was not ordering more. And if they were ordering more, they were ordering the cheaper ones, which is pretty hard to find also, but not as hard as a TIE Bomber. The Falcon, the Y-Wing, the Imperial Star Destroyer in the Empire box, stores didn't order those because last time they had them they didn't sell, or they were still holding on to a bunch of inventory with the Star Wars logo. And if they didn't order the Falcon, Y-Wing, Imperial Star Destroyer, chances are they didn't get the TIE Bomber. Those stores that did order them, they got the TIE Bomber. It wasn't a test market, I don't think. I think it just comes down to what a lot of the rare stuff comes down to. The large size IG-88. Is it rare? Very rare. Was it a test market? Nope. It was just the end of the line and a lot of people didn't order it back then. The Power of the Force figures, why are they so rare and worth so much money? Kids wasn't buying them and stores wasn't ordering them. And if you ask me, that's what happened to the TIE Bomber. It was released, stores didn't want to order it, figuring they couldn't sell it, and those that did order it, they got a few in, sold it, and the line was canceled. So there you go. The Imperial TIE Bomber diecast toy. Was it a test market? Was it rare? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Most of the experts will say it was a test market, but I don't think it was test marketed at all. But again, let me know what you think in the comments below. As always, thumb up my videos so you like my content. Subscribe to the channel, and we'll talk again soon.
Hey, Junkman channel popping though.
Thank you, sir, for that unsolicited testimony.